Hi there, good morning and Tashi Delek. Uh, I wish you a very happy Buddha Jayanti, and happy Buddha Jayanti. So I am here to celebrate Buddha's Buddha Jayanti in a village. So I came here to walk a little bit. So I'm resting here. So just want to share something from the Buddha's biography. I will pinpoint mainly type of three type of three type of point. So you have to know what are those point. You have to listen. So when we go back to the Buddha's lives, and he was born in Lumbini and was cared by the King Suddhodana. He was living very beautiful life during his childhood, and he is always some kind of questioning type, always question. So during his childhood, he has so many friends. Everybody likes him, and every children like to play with him. And he has everything he want. Well, those time, but though from his own heart, he was not satisfied. Something is draining inside from his heart. So that's why later on he become little bit. He grew up. Then he learned. He thought that I must learn everything. So he learned the letters and the arts, even the martial arts. The archery and everything he learned. There's nothing that he didn't learn during Buddha's time. So he learned everything. Even though when he checked, something is empty here. So what's that? Then he thought maybe. So then he grew a little bit older. Then he married King, the Yashodhara, and he was surrounded by the all beautiful girls. He has all the musicians. He has everything. He was living in a lavish life or luxury life, and the whole country was in his hand. Even the king also has a very hope to the Prince Siddhartha. But having all those things and seeing all those situations, when he checked his own heart, still there is a question. He is not satisfied with the luxury life, so he is not satisfied with the love he received from his father and the mother and his wife and all the surroundings from the whole country. Everybody gives him the love, respect. But when we think deep inside, he was not satisfied. So that's why one day Buddha decided, so Siddhartha Gautama decided he should abandon the palace. He should abandon this. The place was called, Kavil Vastu. So then he left. He gave up all those things. He thought that these are the object which attached him so much. So because of that attachment, so he is not happy, right? Something is empty here. So he abandoned everything, his belongings, his country, and his relatives, even his dearest son, Rahula. He was just a kid. So he left because of those attachment, because of the love he received from them, and inside, deep inside, when we think himself, but there is still a question, right? So that's why he left everything. Then he became monk, monk. He wear robes, monk's robe, and he received teachings from various gurus, like Ramaputra and Alankara, and all those things. Mainly, he has two teachers. So the teachers give him teaching, instruction. He meditate by doing this. But although he was practicing very deeply, because he has some kind of renounce of this worldly thing, right? So he practiced very deeply, and then he give up his teacher, gurus, he gurus. Then later on he has some disciple, not disciple, the friends who whom sent from the Kapilavastu to to become friends with him. So one day he left all of them. He also left them. So he thought all those things. Oh, my friends are coming. See, all those are just disturbing him, or something is not happening because of them. So he give up all those things. Then he meditated very deeply. Like even his body become very thin. Only nerves and the bones are seen. There is only skin, very skinny. He ate one drop of water and one grain. So between this, he is living. So he thought all the worldly things are not good for his practice. So he gave up. So he very deeply practice. Then we say 6 years of the practice, Lotu Kawache, you can see in Bodh Gaya, near Bodh Gaya. Then he was practicing very deeply. Even he is about to die, very thin. But though the situation is something is different, still his heart is not fulfilled. Something is empty here. So he abandoned all his worldly things, and he became the hermitage. He became a very good practitioner, the best practitioner those time. Then that is also not satisfied. Then he also give up that kind of that kind of, what to say, the suffering. It's kind of suffering, is it kind of tormenting oneself, by not eating, by not wearing clothes, by not drinking. So just give up everything. He practice very deeply, and that kind of practice also not satisfies his heart. So he give up that. Then he go and eat. While he eat, his friends, the surrounding, the meditator, the practitioner, all heard about that, seen that Siddhartha Gautama was eating. Now he lose his discipline. He is not now practitioner. He now he is not a good practitioner. So he eats, he go here, there, and he meet with lay people. So that's why there's some kind of dispute. So his friends all argue him, by seeing this kind of action. And then he eat, you may see that he drank the milk, and then he go to the Bodhi tree, under the Bodhi tree. Then we just rest, not that kind of deeply practice. And then he just rest on his mind, just not practicing very deeply, not abandoning that kind of worldly things. Just in between there, just he rest. At the moment, he got enlightenment. So this teaching, this kind of life story, tell us we should not the abandoning. In the Buddha's teaching, there's a very very famous teaching, the renunciation. We have to give up, we have to run away, like that. But Buddha's teaching Buddha's life story doesn't tell us that. We should not run away. Renunciation. So first Buddha was thinking, oh, I have to renounce all those things. He gave up everything, he abandoned everything. But that is not working. So that's why if you are practicing, renunciation doesn't mean abandoning your family, abandoning your country, abandoning all those things. It doesn't mean that. And practice very deeply. It doesn't mean you have to not eat, you have to not wear, you have to torment yourself. There's lots of things, you can see that kind of, tormenting oneself. Those are not. And these are two extremes in Tibetan, Sibeta and Hyueta. Two extremes. One extreme of samsaric extreme, and one is the extreme of the nirvana extreme. You may heard that. So because of knowing all samsaric thing, then we should not give up, abandon all those samsaric thing. We just have that kind of ability. And knowing, out of compassion and self peace, is not important. So that's why he gave up all this kind of two extremes. So in the beginning I said I told you I will pinpoint three kind of things. We have three poisons: ignorant, attachment, and hatred. Ignorance means not knowing, not knowing something, like a blind, in the darkness. Because of that darkness, we don't know the reality of the phenomena. So out of that darkness, then we have that attachment. So this attachment, he in the Buddha's story, it shows, the love received from his family, received from the country. Those are attachment. So he abandoned all those. First, he abandoned everything. He has promised, I will not return back this Kavildibasto until I fulfill my desire. He fulfill his empty heart. So when he get enlightened, then he realized that kind of abandoning is not correct. So I should not abandon, but instead of abandoning, I should have that kind of ability, not attaching. So the teaching renouncement is the antidote of the attachment. So by practicing renouncing, it doesn't mean you have to give up everything. It is like that, not attaching with the things which you have to attach. So later on, he went to the Kabil Bastu. He deal with the great kings. He give teachings. He go to the the rich people's home, and he receive every kind of the love from the areas. So that doesn't mean so renouncing or detach doesn't mean give up everything. So it means you have to not attach the thing which surrounds you. If you attach with the surrounding, then you are one kind of poisons attachment. You have that attachment. While not having that attachment, you can deal with everything. So this is the one point, the attachment and renouncement. It doesn't mean the abandoning. And secondly, he practiced very deeply, almost not eating, almost not drinking, almost not wearing. So this is kind of a part of resentment, or not agree with everything, but it's part of the hatred, one kind of poison. You may see the practitioner, they don't want to meet anyone. They don't want to, they just go in the very corner and corner, that there nobody can see him. He don't want to talk. He don't want to discuss. He don't want to meet. So very singly. So that is also a kind of hating samsaric thing. So needing the peaceful thing. So this is also an extreme of peace, extreme of the abiding in the self peace. It's kind of, so this is also not good. So he give up this kind of practice, very deeply practice. He give up. So practicing doesn't mean that living alone. Practicing doesn't mean that not to talk. Practice doesn't mean not to meet with people. Practice doesn't mean not to eat. Practice doesn't mean not to wear clothes. Yes, you have to. You can wear. You can eat. You can live your life fully, but not hating something, or not going that attachment. Between there, you can live your life. The Buddha's teaching always teach us how to live life. So this is because the antidote of the hatred. So he then meet all the people who want to meet him. He want to receive the teaching. He want to whatever they want. He can give fulfill them. So he meet more people as much as he can. First he is abandoning everything, right? So now he realized abandoning doesn't mean that they're not attaching, but to have them, the altruistic mind. It's kind of the practice of bodhisattva. So this is very important. So because of the antidote of hatred, he cultivate compassion, loving kindness towards others. But it doesn't mean with some we show compassionate towards other, doesn't mean we have to attachment. So that's the difference between attachment and love, and loving kindness and attachment. While not attaching, you show compassionate. That's the Buddha's path. So this is not going beyond the extreme, too extreme. If we don't have this kind of extreme, and we are living in this life, then is the Buddha's. Then it's like the wisdom. You have that kind of wisdom. the understanding of the living life, and that is the antidote of the ignorance. So because of the ignorance, we have that attachment and hatred in enemies. This is just kind of from the Buddha's teaching, but you may check yourself. So enlightenment, gaining the Buddhahood, it doesn't mean go somewhere and becoming like, dress up like something. Those are not the correct thing. So having enlightened oneself means the confidence come from within. You don't need to wear roughs. You don't need to wear some kind of special thing, head, whatever you look like. It doesn't mean life is always life. It's like it has to follow, like a river. So that's why the enlightened means, enlightened from the within. The confidence come from within. And that kind of confidence, like you can deal with everywhere, you can deal with anybody, that it doesn't, the other thing doesn't, what to say, not hurt you. Whatever things come, if that the reality of that thing, that hateful, and jealousy, hatred, attachment, everywhere, the whole are full of that, right? So when you deal with those negative emotions, negative actions, and you are still confident to face them, right? You are not drawn by those waves. You can, in between those negative conflict, you can stay. If you can stay like like a butterfly, that is the enlightenment. That is the confident you have from the inside. Whatever the disagreement, whatever the environment is, it doesn't matter. You can walk like a king. That's why to gaining confidence, to gaining enlightenment from inside. That's why Buddha was named Shakyasinghe. It means the line of the Shakya. So lion doesn't care, the hyena, the deer, whatever. He doesn't care. He just walk as he has to walk. So like that, if we gain that kind of confidence, not attaching, not hating, if you can walk your path like water flows, then you may the king of yourself. You may the line of yourself, not depending on others. So shebe sila minepa, ningje shila minepa. So it means by knowing the reality of the phenomena, you are not abiding in this samsara. By the out of compassion, you are not sitting singly, a kind of a monastery or a kind of the retreat. You are not taking every time. So you can deal with everybody. This because of this knowledge, because of that understanding, and because of the compassion, you can deal with everything. It doesn't matter how you look like, how you wear, what you wear. This is not the Buddha's what the Buddha's teachings mean. So Buddha's teaching means that you have that competence in every situation. So this is how Buddha's we come to know about the Buddha's teaching. So that's how I got from the Buddha's teaching. I learned so many years. So that's what I want to share in this thing in Buddha Jayanti. I hope you have that, you may understand. So once again, happy Buddha Jayanti. So I have to go to celebrate with the people. I should not take solitude here. Bye bye. See you.